turn around. Turning point, yeah. He's a turn around. Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Ocran. Welcoming you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and the place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group with media support from the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. So today we begin a conversation about exploring untapped opportunities or untapped resources. Our thinking here at Springboard is that very often as a country, we say there is no opportunity and there is no resource, but we believe that there is so much that is available that can be tapped. And so in today's conversation, we'll be looking at how to empower young entrepreneurs, that young person looking for something to do with their lives, how to put them in an advantageous position and have just the right person to start this conversation with us. Liana Ekuadzi is the programs manager at MEST Africa, and I would like to explore with her, what are young people saying? Where are the opportunities? And if somebody is really serious, where should they look? And can she hold their hand and guide them all the way to the top? Liana, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Rev.
Thanks for coming. And the young people hearing that today is about opportunity are very, very ready for you, Ben, and I hope you're ready for them as well.
Absolutely, very ready for them.
What excites you about the young people of this country? What excites you?
So I'd say we have a lot of very vibrant, energetic young people, and people who want to make a difference. If you look at our social media landscape, for instance, you see that there are not young people who just sit back and look at what is going on without being involved, being engaged. These are lots of young people with a lot of energy, lots of ideas, lots of motivation to make a difference wherever they find themselves. And I think for somebody like me, my business and my organization and what we do, this is what excites us, this is what motivates us and encourages us to do more of what we do day in, day out.
I find that very often people do a bit of stereotyping about young people and assume that because their mode of engagement is different from how it used to be when we were younger, it means that they are not serious. And you hear people make blanket statements, but are you finding in your work that some young people have the potential to become the big multinationals that we've always been dreaming about in this country?
Definitely. Not only do we find them having the motivation, but some are actually doing it even with very little help. With the work that we do, we train young people to become tech entrepreneurs. You would assume that, in a training organization, somebody coming in would just now be coming in to learn and now develop an entrepreneurship venture. But some come in and have already started doing or implementing some of the ideas they've had. There are some who have even started businesses once, twice, they failed, and now they want to sit back, learn how to do it properly, and then be successful in what they do.
But that sounds exciting.
It is very exciting.
Wow. Before we come to MEST and what you are set up to do, how important is this entrepreneurial conversation in the context of Africa as a continent and by extension Ghana?
So, taking Africa, there's a research, I think it's by the World Economic Forum, that says that by 2050, our population would have doubled to about 2.5 billion people. Imagine 2.5 billion people on this continent.
Many of them very young.
Very young, yes. Yeah. And that's the interesting part. A greater majority of this population are very young people, teeming with a lot of energy. And when you have such a large population, people need to live, people need to survive, people need to thrive. It creates a lot of opportunities in there. But as we all know, our government, when we take it from Ghana as a starting point and explore to other African countries, they can't do everything. We can't expect government to take care of every single need that we have. That's where entrepreneurship plugs in. The opportunities are there. The stage has been set. Now it's up to young people who have the energy, who have the mindset, who know and understand what is going on in the global ecosystem to take up these opportunities, develop solutions out of the challenges and problems we have, and then cascade it and make it bigger to become much larger enterprises.
In the light of that, where does MEST fit into this value chain? So if I may draw an imaginary line and say, okay, so they are young people, some of them have gone to school, some of them have not gone to school. Everyone wants to make a living, build a family, take care of themselves, achieve their aspirations. Some will find themselves in government work or formal public sector employment. Some will find themselves in employment in the private sector. And yet another category say they have some ability or some talent or some idea that they want to channel into business. So it's almost like three outlets for these young people. Where does MEST plug in, and what exactly does MEST Africa offer the young people of this continent?
So thank you very much. So like you've nicely described it, there are three avenues for a young person who's probably like out of school or looking for economic opportunities. Now, this third group that you described, where they don't get into private sector or public sector, what happens to them? These are the people who usually, I would say, by how they were created or how they were socialized, wouldn't naturally fit into any of these, let me describe it as restrictive industries. These are people creative, energetic, and they need some guidance to bring those creative energies, those ideas to become businesses that would grow and flourish and even help other young people. So that is where MEST comes in. And with MEST, our focus is on tech entrepreneurship. So any and everything we do has tech enablement as the underlying factor. So as MEST, we do three main things. We are an tech entrepreneurship training organization. We are a seed fund, and we are an ecosystem enabler through various programs that we run. So let me first start with what I mean by...
Slow it down. My students like, this is a venture university, so I know people are writing notes. So there's tech entrepreneurship training.
Yes.
Then there's seed fund.
Seed fund.
Then the third one is?
I said an ecosystem enabler through various programs and activities.
Charlie, this is big English. Ecosystem enabler. Too powerful. Let's start with the
tech entrepreneurship. Yes,
training.
sure. So we have this 1 year fully funded fellowship where we recruit young people, not only from Ghana, but across the African continent, into a 1 year training program where we train them in technology, in business, and in communication. And for what we do, these are the three main fundamental things that they need to start their tech businesses. Now, throughout the 1 year training, we help them and support them to develop ideas and even test out these ideas. At the end of their training, we have what we call our guest lectures, where they pitch their idea, and some of the most successful ideas get invested in. And I'm proud to say, as many good ideas that we find, we invest in. On average, we take about 60 people every year, and of these 60 people, they form groups to start their businesses. So we have about, let's say, 10 to 14 or 15 businesses pitching every year. But as many good ideas that we find, we invest in.
Each yearly cohort of 12 months of training, about how many young people find themselves in that cohort?
On average, 60 people.
60. So 60 exciting young women and men come for your training.
Yes.
How deep is the engagement? Is it weekly? Is it daily?
It's a graduate level training. So we usually take people who have had some form of basic tertiary education or similar experience that would qualify for tertiary education.
Why?
And so it's a number of things. With what we train and what we do, your mind should have been open to a certain extent where you can absorb the lessons or the communication that is coming to you.
So the curriculum is postgraduate in nature?
Yes, it's very postgraduate in nature, but also very highly focused on experiential learning and hands-on development.
What qualifies to make a business a tech business?
A tech business. Oh, so you should have technology as the underlying factor to how the business is set up.
I'm listening to you and saying I have a number of our program, the Ghana Growth Program, as part of the Springboard engagement with the MasterCard Foundation, looks at young people going into decent and fulfilling work in agriculture, agribusiness, and 80 were technical and vocational areas. So I'm listening to what you are saying and seeing tech business. Do my farmers qualify? Do my agribusiness people qualify? Do my logistics people qualify? Do my food processing people qualify? I'm just looking for opportunity for my young friends to help us to explain what a tech business is.
So the tech businesses we have in mind or that we cater to are software technology.
Okay.
So when it comes to technology, we have mechanical technology. So developing a machine that can do something that, for example, the fufu machines that we have nowadays. So instead of manually pounding your fufu, now you have a fufu machine that makes it very easy to get your fufu. That's technology, but that's mechanical technology. But we are looking at software entrepreneurship or software technology, where we use all these interesting computers and coding to develop solutions that do different things along the tech value chain. So that's what we mean when we say tech business or software tech entrepreneurship.
So anyone who will qualify for a MEST investment must have a technology component in their business.
Absolutely, yes.
Wonderful.
The training gives you the tools and skills you need to develop the business that is tailored towards being qualified for funding.
So you may come in with a business idea that is not necessarily already tech enabled, yes, but you can be guided to make it so.
Yes. So actually,
and is it industry? Does it cut across industries?
It's industry agnostic. So our basic underlying factor is that it should be software entrepreneurship, but it doesn't matter whether it's agri industry, whether it's retail, whether it's hotels, whether it's finance. We cater to all sorts of industries, entertainment, everything is acceptable. Okay. Once it makes sense and you follow through the guidelines that's provided, yes, you do qualify for funding.
And the three areas of coaching is technology, communication,
and business.
Yes, please. So after 1 year of preparing these 60 young people, you on average may end up investing in, let's say, five to seven
of these businesses
entities.
Yes, please.
When you say invest in, what does it mean?
So we provide seed fund.
So now you've moved to the number 2, seed fund.
Number 2, exactly.
The part that most
of the
people...
it's pretty much a value chain, you
right.
see. Mm-hmm.
I get
so
it.
So you get in, we train you, you develop your business, it makes sense, it looks very viable, then we invest in you. Now for the businesses we invest up to $100,000 in these businesses. And when we do invest in you, then we get to a stage where we say you get into our portfolio. And in this portfolio, we have people in there who support and guide you to bring these ideas you've developed to fruition. We help you to go to market, we help you to register, we help you to access funding, we help you to even go to other markets if it is within the scope of what you want to do and achieve with your business. So that is what we do once you get into the training program up until you get into our portfolio.
What's in it for MEST?
What's in it for MEST? So we do invest equity. Okay. So then we have a stake as a part owner in the businesses that you've developed.
What's the difference between MEST and a venture capital fund?
So a venture capital fund is just looking at opportunities to invest in. But with MEST, we go the whole 9 yards. We start with you from training, grooming you, helping you to understand what it takes to have the business. Then when you do develop a business that makes sense for us, then we invest in you. And I'd say one or some of the interesting and unique things about MEST and what we do is how we have built and set up the organization, the business. We provide this very conducive environment that allows you to go up to the extent of your limits, right? Or your capabilities as an individual. It's a very safe space. Develop your idea, test it out, fail. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the learning process. You fail, you learn what you did wrong, and then you don't repeat it the next time. So in a 1 year period, we have about 4 different iterations where the learners or we call them EITs, MEST Entrepreneurs in Training, EITs. Okay. The EITs get to develop multiple businesses. So every quarter they develop a business. If it makes sense, then they move on to the next. They progress to the next stage. Otherwise, you drop it, you scrap it, and then develop a new idea. Either regroup with other individuals because maybe the group dynamics wasn't working so well. So then we provide this very conducive environment for you to fail multiple times until you get it very right.
Experts seem to suggest that provision or providing for failure and if I may use the pastoral word, resurrection, is part of part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, or it should be part of a good entrepreneurial design, or you'll be disappointed. So you are saying that you are not a stranger to young people failing and then retrying.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Let me
we,
pick.
we actually encourage it, and that is why they have multiple iterations. In certain instances, they actually require, you could even have a great idea, but it's a requirement that everybody, you scrap all your ideas, find new teammates, regroup, and then see what you learn from the entire process as you scrap ideas and come up with new ideas and work with different people.
So what you encourage them to feel, at least
in a way, and it's positive, right? It goes a long way.
I'm listening to you, and I'm saying, well, look at my life when I was in business, and I look at most of the business people I've interviewed, and each one of them has some serious failure in there. But you are saying, let's not wait for it to fail. Let's help you to fail so you learn from it.
Exactly.
Wow, intentional failure.
If you would want to describe it as such.
If you just joined us, this is an interesting conversation with Liana Ekuadzi. She's a programs manager at MEST Africa, and she's giving us some very good news for young entrepreneurs. And I am tempted to say this is too good to be true. I mean, it's just like that. I want to explore who qualifies. And before that, do I get a sense that in this model that you are working with, teamwork or partnership is embedded in it?
Oh, it is one of the key tenets.
Help me to understand it.
You can't, as an individual, you can't say you are developing the business and going to pitch your business idea. It's almost impossible and pretty much impractical. There's a need to develop the code of the business you are developing. And you can't do that alone. You can't be your own CEO, your own operations manager, your own marketing lead and all of that. You need other people to do other parts of the work. So we encourage them to work in groups. They often work in groups of 3 to 4 people in a group, where everybody has a different role to play in the business. As individuals, we are not islands. In the business world, you can't live, exist, and work alone. You need to work with other people. Some good, some bad, but then it's all a learning process in that ecosystem that we've created over there.
Sounds very interesting, I must say. So, Liana, what you're saying is that the individual can come with their idea, but once they enter, there is some permutation that is done, and you end up with groups.
Yes, we even encourage them. If you have an idea, no worries, you just keep it, but come with a very fresh, clean mind.
Oh, now I understand.
Yes.
So you literally are gathering entrepreneurs rather than ideas.
Yes, we are developing entrepreneurs.
Okay. So then what makes a person qualified? Because I was presuming that you must either have an idea that is solid or you must be doing something. What qualifies a person to be on the lucky 60?
So a few things. Our program is tailored towards young people. And the qualification for young people is being between the ages of 18 and 35. So that's like one of the main hurdles you need to cross. And then
if you are listening, watching, hearing, and you know anyone between 18 and 35, please call them, WhatsApp them, email them, whatever them, so they can tune in and listen to this, because it's getting very interesting. All right, Liana.
Yeah, so we look at that age bracket. Secondly, we are very heavily focused on women empowerment. So if you're a woman and you have the interest, we also heavily encourage you.
If you are listening and you know somebody who's a female in that bracket, the probability is now gone even higher. So please text them or WhatsApp them.
Yes.
I'm listening to you, Liana.
And then we need people who are disciplined self-starters. As an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurship in itself, a lot of discipline makes success come your way. If you cannot be disciplined to show up to class, cannot be disciplined to submit your deliverables, you really wouldn't be successful, because it is the same kind of attitude you display when you go out into the market.
Which means that even as I announce the opportunity, if the person you're going to call is always late, please don't waste your time.
Or probably take a step back, look at yourself, and make changes to improve on some of those aspects.
Should I mention somebody's name? I shouldn't mention somebody's name.
I think they would rather we don't mention their names.
The person knows himself or herself. There's some people who are always late too.
I can imagine. I know a few myself.
So when they come to MEST, they will struggle small.
You definitely will struggle. Discipline is one of the key things that we uphold with the work that we do.
You're saying that it's because it's a business
Yes, it's one of, you need to have that kind of discipline in business. When you are successful, you need discipline to keep the success going. When you are failing, you need discipline to be able to turn the business around. If
Several
that
years
is
ago, when I
any.
was at that stage in business, I happened to benefit from the Empretech program. It has some similarities, but also very significant differences from the MEST program. But it was built around what they called entrepreneurial competencies, and discipline was very embedded in there. So you are saying that any serious entrepreneurial program must look at the discipline of the entrepreneur, or forget it. The
Yes.
idea can be good, the resources can even be there, but it won't work.
Because it would fail, right? It would fail. And the way our program is also structured, it's not just about, going to class, having somebody lecture to you. We do a lot of varied things just to nurture these young entrepreneurs. We have what we call bring buy or butter, where even before they learn any of these skills, we ask them to go out there, I think over a period of 5 days. And so within the MEST community and then our immediate environment, find a business entrepreneurial idea. Try to make money out of it. I think they start off with about 50 CDs or 20 Ghana CDs. And then over 1 week, let's see, how are you able to turn around this 20 CDs or 50 Ghana CDs? If you are very disciplined, you are very structured, you are very methodical in your way, you'll be able to do something that would be able to turn that money around. And we have a lot of very interesting stories. Some people
Tell
will
me.
come, saying that they want to massage the staff members. So they'll give you a massage and then you get money. Some
Right
people,
there and then.
right there and then, some people would go bring a coconut seller, right? So that at lunch, after you've had your lunch, you get to buy some coconuts and then they make money out of it. So there are a lot of, very
So when you're
different
evaluating
ideas.
these 100 CD investing entrepreneurs, what do you look out for?
So some of these traits, like I mentioned, discipline and being motivated. And I think one thing we try to decipher is having a keen or genuine interest in tech entrepreneurship. And that comes out through the entire process, the application process. With your permission, I'd like to talk about how the application goes. So first off, we use social media channels to announce when we are recruiting for any of our cohorts.
What month is it normally?
So usually we start in, I think, September, but this year we'll start the next cycle in December. You would submit your application, we do an online interview, and then when you pass the online interview, then you come in for an in-person interview. So you can have a one-on-one in-person interview with the panel, then you have a group interview where we look at group dynamics and a few other things before you finally get selected into the program. And we do this not only in Ghana, we actually go on tour to a number of African countries. So if you're in Ghana, Nigeria, and any of the neighboring countries, Ghana will be your center point. We go to the French-speaking countries in Senegal. So the recruitment team will travel to Senegal, and all Senegalese and other countries around the area, Mali and all those other countries, also come in there to interview them. We go to Kenya, where the East Africans also have their allocation there. Then we go to South Africa for the Southern African countries. So it doesn't matter where you are and what you do, we get you into the program. Exactly.
Yeah, let's push on to resource and methodology. Some people say, listen, no matter what you teach in the classroom, when the rubber hits the road, entrepreneurship is very different. How close is your program to mimicking what happens in real life?
So what we do, not only do we teach them, we use people, we call them teaching fellows, the lecturers and the people who teach them. These are people who are often entrepreneurs themselves. A good number of them often would have come from previous years of our training programs.
Okay, alumni.
Alumni, exactly. So these are people who, they've experienced what you're experiencing, they've gone out there, have run their businesses, whether they failed, they've iterated, they've been successful, they know how it is, how it feels to be in that space. And now they've come back to deliver and teach and give back to you. So we give you very good first-hand experience. Then we don't only concentrate on the classroom teaching. You develop your business, you develop your ideas, and we encourage you. And I think there's funding that is given to actually go test out your idea. So they go out into the market. I know some ideas. I think there was a startup that was looking at bulk buying. So, the economy is hard. You can't be spending every little penny counts, right? So they realized, oh, if we get a number of people together, they buy in bulk and split the cost, it would make sense. So in this case, to test out, to get the suppliers for this whole program, they had to go out into the market. So they go all the way out, whether Makola, Agbobloshi, wherever, to execute their ideas and learn from the experience what worked, what didn't work, what can we do to make it better. And so we provide a lot of experiential learning throughout the process. So it's very similar to being in the real world. The advantage we provide you is that now we do give you that comfortable space to allow you to
Like you say,
test it out.
comfortable. It's almost like you can feel it.
We feel we provide everything. So let me share a bit more some of the things that the program provides. Besides the fully funded training, you don't pay for the tuition. We house them, we feed them, we transport them in and out of school every day, and then we provide them some living stipends as a result. So everything, I'm not joking. This is all part of the program. So everything is done such that you don't need to worry about the basics of life. Focus all your energies on your innovation, your creativity.
For the 1 year that somebody is on that program, it means that they can't work.
You would not be able to work.
But at
the end of the day, what you come out with, you get to make up for the 1 year of lost work time and everything. We've had lawyers leave their legal firms to come into the program. We've had people in media leave media to come into the program. I think we've had instances where we've had one or two doctors even come into the program. And that's how attractive and how good the offering is in the program.
This is Springboard, your virtual university, a very attractive conversation with Liana Ekuadzi telling us what the MEST Africa offering represents. But this is a bigger conversation about exploring untapped resources. It's amazing how you can be so close to something very big happening and say, until I heard it, I never knew. What we are doing in this series here on Springboard is to look out for opportunities in various places and corners and bring them to your attention so you can now make the quality decision to apply for them. And if you benefited from this program, get onto social media. Let's have this big conversation. It's streaming on the MEST page, it's streaming on our page. Everywhere that you can find it streaming, let's have the big conversation. What did you learn? What did you experience? How is it like? If you also are looking for opportunity, send us your questions, your thoughts, your expressions, and let's continue this big conversation about empowering young entrepreneurs, not just in Ghana, but across Africa. We'll go for a brief break. When we come back, let's see whether we can point to some success stories and see this is one of the alumni of the MEST program and see what they've been able to do with their lives. So let me remind you that Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group with media support from the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. So our enterprise tip for today is on claims. What steps should you take after filing an insurance claim? And that is our question for today. What steps must you take after filing an insurance claim? You want to call it Claims 101, the basics of making an insurance claim. And the response is, after filing a claim, document damages with photos. Keep your communication records and follow up promptly. Being organized and proactive can streamline the process and help receive a fair and timely settlement. So please, file your claims, document your damages with photos, keep your comms records, and follow up promptly. This is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. The number to call 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, definitely your advantage. Let's go for a break. When we come back, has this model worked? Are there success stories we can point to? And since failure is an encouraged or an active part of this conversation, are there people too who got the funding and chopped the money or did something that you're saying, oh, it's not all rosy out there? Let's go into the engine room of this program. Please don't go away.
Hello? Bye.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird that will fly. Bird is the word that will fly. Bird is the word that will fly. Don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is the word that will fly. Bird is the word that will fly.
To consider the implications.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful memorable goodbyes. It's 2024, and in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise, your advantage.
This be me, Kobe, aka Kobe Boga, KB for short. And this is my sweetheart, Obahima. Today, I get big surprise for her. Charlie, gone are the days I couldn't spoil my girl. Now I'm engaged to the woman of my dreams. Don't just look at my success. To get here, I had to follow the process. Out of nowhere, I lost my job. But I believe in humble beginnings. I got an idea that I knew I could grow. I started from a small setup, then invested in growing my own coconuts. I then grew my product lines. Now, I sell to many supermarkets in the country. Fellow young Ghanaians, trust the process and keep hope alive.
Take advantage of agri-business through the Ghana Grows program. Ghana Grows, Hope Day.
Welcome back to Springboard Virtual University and to this inspiring conversation about young people in Africa and entrepreneurial opportunities for them as they seek to try out their ideas and try out their abilities. It's under a broader conversation about exploring untapped resources in our continent, all with the aim of creating decent and fulfilling work for young Africans, especially young women, so that the continent can continue to blossom. And when we reach the number 2.5 billion, we will not have unemployed people all around us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation and proudly sponsored by MTN Ghana and Enterprise Group, with media support from the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. Just to mention, talking about opportunities for young people, that if you are interested or curious about agriculture, agribusiness, and technical and vocational sectors, please do not stay away from the Ghana Grows program, because there's so much that is happening. And one of these is I'm going to actually start bringing beneficiaries of this program on this set to talk about what they have stumbled upon, what they found, and what they've been able to do with it. So some exciting things are happening around the young people of this country. And if you would like to find out more about these sectors, agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET, please call the Ghana Grows hotline or WhatsApp them, and they will be happy to share with you some openings, some opportunities, or answer questions you might have about where do you go to get what. And the number to call or WhatsApp for Ghana Grows is 03082557775. 03082557775. Ghana Grows is an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and other technical partners. So today I get to speak with Liana Ekuadzi, who is the programs manager at MEST Africa, sharing some of the exciting opportunities for young people. If you are a young person and you've been listening to Springboard, you have no excuse. Every week we'd say something that should empower you to become the very best version of yourself. And Liana is showing us some opportunities that many of you didn't know even existed. And I'm hearing about a yearly cohort of 60 people aged between 18 and 35, a number of whom are young women who are selected after a grueling process of online and in-person interviews, and then put on a program where you work with others to create different iterations of an idea, and then you are trained for free, fed for free, bussed for free, given stipends, and at the end of the program, about 5 to 7 businesses that have been created are given the funding, the seed fund, to actually go out there and implement these ideas with funding of up to $100,000. But this is just very exciting because it just is showing us what is possible to that person who says, I have great ideas, I have the attributes, but I don't have the funding. So please stay with us as we explore more of these opportunities coming to us from MEST Africa. What exactly is MEST for the benefit of our listeners and viewers?
So MEST is
what does it stand for?
It stands for Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology.
You want to melt water?
So actually, Meltwater in itself is an organization that is in the US, which is an outside insights company. So they survey the public space and provide companies and businesses insights on what their brand or their image is in the public space. And their foundation, which is the Meltwater Foundation, is that which set up MEST Africa here in Ghana, and they fund their business and a lot of the things that we do. But not only do we do this, but we have other partners like the MasterCard Foundation, UNICEF Ghana, who run lots of different programs with us in the ecosystem, the tech ecosystem.
When you come to the ecosystem and the partnerships, but let's get a bit personal on this part. Mm-hmm. How did you end up doing this? Is this what you've always wanted to do?
Actually not. So myself, my background is in banking and finance.
You're joking?
No, I started my career working with Fidelity Bank for my national service, and I worked a few years there after. And I went to do my master's in business administration in the US at the time. This was in 2014 to 2016. But during your master's program, you would be required to do an internship, ideally, during the summer break. So in 2015, I had a chance to work with IBM in the US for my internship for about 3 months. And for somebody from a finance background, I didn't have any prior experience in tech. This was quite interesting, exciting. The job wasn't so difficult, but it was exciting and very exposing to what was out there in the tech space. After school, I came back home and got back to IBM to explore what more I could learn and do. And that was where I got maybe more interested and more embedded in the tech space. So at the time, I was a service delivery manager, managing some of the client contracts we had. But along the line, IBM came up with this idea, and also back to this issue of having a very huge population in Africa. They realized there are so many young people, and human capital, human energy is a driving force for a lot of things, a lot of change. How do we harness this human capital? They developed this learning platform called the IBM Digital Nation Africa. And being a young person, at the time I was one of the youngest people in my team.
Digital
Nation Africa.
In Africa.
Yes.
Digital Nation Africa.
Africa, yes. That was what it's named then. It's transitioned a bit now, I'm told. Country manager, Angela Chematenjimo.
Great friend of ours. She's been on this show.
Oh, she has been?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So she tasked myself and a couple of others to be the front runners for spreading the information about this platform here in Ghana. So going to schools, going to universities, going to partner organizations to tell them about the platform and to help them sign up to it and use it. And it's from there that I got more involved in digital skills, tech entrepreneurship, and what the opportunities are in there. So a few years in IBM, one of the managers I worked with there, who is currently my manager at MEST Africa, Femi Adewumi, he transitioned from IBM to MEST, and they were starting a new program which was focused on building digital skills in young people. That was where, because of my prior experience with working on this IBM Digital Nation Africa platform, he said, would you want to come and lead this initiative here at MEST? And of course, it sounded very interesting and very exciting. And so that was how I transitioned into MEST.
I like when you say I transitioned. You say I run away.
So that was how I got into the MEST space and more into the tech entrepreneurship and digital skills space.
Three things racing through my mind from what he just shared. One of which is career pivoting. And the fact that what you learn in school and what you start your career in is not necessarily where you will remain for the rest of your life. So if you did your undergrad in banking and finance from Legon?
From Legon, yes.
Okay, so typical banking and finance,
UGBS.
first degree, UGBS, then you go and do your master's and MBA.
MBA again, with a focus on finance, interestingly.
So here you are thinking you are totally embedded in
The
finance.
space, yes.
And if I'm hearing you right, the game changer was an internship.
Was an internship.
So my lesson 1 is about career pivoting.
Yes.
My lesson 2 is about internship, something that people don't take seriously. And you are saying that it is that internship that opened your eyes to the tech space.
Absolutely, yes.
And the third one is networking. Because you mentioned Angela and then you mentioned Femi.
Femi, yes.
And Femi goes to find a new opportunity and says, Liana, let's go together. So if I created an acronym, it would be PIN. PIN, I mean,
Yes.
PIN. Maybe I'll add K for knowledge because you have the knowledge. If you have the knowledge, Femi won't call you and say, come along with me. Let's create an imaginary acronym, PINK.
Pink.
Pivoting, internship, networking, and knowledge. Yeah, let's write a book called Pink, written by Albert and Liana. Do you remember the very first report you quoted on entrepreneurship in Africa?
Yes.
Written by
This I was talking about the World Economic
Forum. I love to cite their future of jobs reports because it talks about flexibility and the fact that actually you can start from somewhere, but if you really want to survive in your career, you could end up somewhere else. So you are saying that pivoting,
it's a part of life, really. Don't box yourself into one space. Open yourself up for ideas.
do you have examples of success stories that have migrated beyond the shores of our country to offer solutions outside the country?
Tractor. So we usually describe it as the Uber for tractors.
Okay.
So those in the agri space know that buying your own tractor is a very expensive venture. And a lot of our farmers are small scale, peasant farmers. So they can't afford the tractor. And even some of them cannot even afford the hiring for a tractor to clear their land. So what does Tractor do? They come in there, they have their tractors, they group farmers together. When they have the seasons where they clear the land and prepare the land and all of that. So when it's that time, they negotiate with groups and cooperatives of farmers, bring in the tractor, come and clear the land for you. And then you all pool your resources and pay for that one tractor. So whereas it would have been expensive for an individual farmer to go get a tractor to clear their land, now tractor comes in there and pulls a lot of you together. That's it for you. And everybody enjoys the benefits. Right. And
where's the technology part in this? Is it the booking,
the booking
scheduling?
platform, the scheduling? Yes, that is where the technology comes in there. So a lot of the work we do, yes, is software technology related, but then there's always a trickle down to the real economy. The technology is on one level, but then at the end of the day, we are doing real work. They are creating real businesses that are operational and create impact and do actual things in the ecosystem.
Several years ago, one of the main speakers at the Festival of Ideas, organized by us, said while we've made progress with payment systems and a couple of other platforms and technology, he was throwing a challenge to tech firms to come to the place where the everyday problems that the Ghanaian and African faces are being solved by technology. Then and only then will he be convinced that we have come a long way in our journey. Would you say we are there or almost there?
I'd say we are on the road to get there. I can talk about some other businesses in the tech space. There's this other business that provides pregnant women sort of like a quick update or a quick look on their pregnancy journey and their relationship with their doctors. Wow. So, and it's the books that we are giving when you are pregnant to record all your vitals and your visits to the doctor. It's been made in a technological form and given to hospitals. So you come there, you don't have your book, you can't afford the book. The doctor can just quickly pull up your records and then record your visit and everything, the details that come as a result of it. And some of these things also incorporate.
These are accessible to you on your phone? Do you have access to yourself?
Yes, so sometimes, yes. For some of these solutions, the targets can have access to it on their phone. So it's two ways. While the doctor has access to it and is recording your details, you also have it on your phone and you can see how your journey is progressing in pregnancy.
Awesome. Are these solutions that we discuss, everyday person on the street, can they get access to or can they understand some of these solutions?
So these solutions, yes, there are varied solutions for varied people in the market. I'll talk about an example of a company, Fluid Finance. What they do is they realized, and this is also another agri solution. There are farmers.
You're hitting my
agri.
Yeah, I know, you're making me very happy.
There are farmers up north, especially the share farmers. They are dispersed over a wide area and so many of them. And sometimes they need funding to be able to enable their businesses. And sometimes they even need funding to be able to support themselves whilst they are in waiting to harvest the share so they can get revenues. But they don't have the capability and capacity to go to the rural banks who operate in these areas to access their funding. So that is where Fluid Finance comes in. They have men on the ground. They've created an app. They work with the rural banks. They sign on the rural banks. They say, you know what, we are going to these farms, we are going to their cooperatives, we are going to their groups and unions, we are going to sign them up, collect their details, have their bio data. And now when they need funding or financing from you, we are sort of like an intermediary. We will provide you all the information and everything you need, and then you can also now give them the funding. When it's time for repayment, we would make sure that they make all the payments. Now, these farmers cannot use the technology, but Fluid Finance has developed the technology. They have provided people on ground who now use or manage this technology using apps and phones and tablets and whatnot to now get the data and whatever it is that the farmers need to provide to the rural banks. So they use the technology. So you, a farmer, you don't need to know how to use the technology, but some intermediary person has been provided who knows how to use the technology to make the solution available to you.
As I listen to you, it reminds me of somebody I heard, one of the share nut advocates, farmers, farming groups, make a presentation at the Mastercard Foundation convening.
Okay.
And he shared some brilliant thoughts, but his closing thoughts will remain in my mind as a wake-up call. He was saying, buy the original shea butter products that are made in this country by the people who make them from the northern part of this country, because we'll be supporting local businesses. He shared the health benefits. He shared the fact that this is the original one. But when he was closing, he made a very simple rallying call to us. And he made it on the wings of the fact that the temperature at the time was, we've had a very hot year.
Yes, we have.
this time of year. He says, majority of the trees in the northern part of this country are shea nut trees. Now, if we don't patronize the shea butter products of the farmers, they will conclude that it's not viable and they will cut the trees and the temperature will rise further. At that point, I said, where are they? Please, show me where they are. I'll just go and buy it right now. But it was just another line of argument that I had not considered. And interestingly, that made such a strong impression on my mind, the storytelling and the correlation. So you've shared some success stories of MEST Africa alumni who have been invested in and supported. Two things come to my mind. Are there also some instances where people are given opportunity and don't do what you expect of them? That sometimes make you feel, but this, let's look at that aspect as well.
Yeah, so without mentioning the name of one or two of these startups that I've had the privilege of being engaged in their, let me say, the solution or their story. So there was this one, it was a crowdfunding platform. Good idea. And it was also, again, agric focused. And what they were doing was they used the platform to source for crowdfunding, and then they get the monies, and now they give the monies to farmers who now use the monies to till the land, grow their farm produce, and then pay back, which is now giving back to the people who provided the crowdfunding. And of course, this was a very good, viable idea. The gentleman pitched the idea, everything sounded really great. We give this gentleman the funding. And of course, no serious business person will give you their funding without understanding or coming to an agreement with you what deliverables and timelines you would have to stick to for those deliverables. We come for the first review, and then this gentleman starts with stories. Okay, we ideate with you to find a solution. He goes back, comes back, and then the story has totally changed. And at that point, we realized there's no need continuing the funding that we were giving to him. So immediately we had to pull out. And unfortunately, of course, once we pull out, the business is not able to grow and continue. More because the individual was not being honest with the funding that he got, not applying it in the way that he said he was going to apply it, and not reporting and giving account as he was supposed to. So yes, we would do any and everything to make sure you are successful, but sometimes there are just some people who, whether they are not helpable, but they just would not really want to help themselves.
It's important to bring that context, because if the story becomes too sweet to be true. So you're saying that as long as you are disciplined, you're honest, you understand reporting and accountability, and you have the entrepreneurial attributes, and also can generate the ideas, you can qualify for the program at MEST Africa.
Absolutely.
Let's end by talking about innovation and creativity. In all this conversation, how important is innovation and creativity?
So it's innovation and creativity, very, very important. The things, they always say that there's no new thing under the sun. Everything that is under the sun has been done before. But the innovation and creativity comes in where you have a different approach to a solution, a different approach to how something is done. If everybody was doing things the same way, it's just going to be homogeneous, it's going to be boring, it's been done already. But where an entrepreneur, you stand out, where your business stands out, where your business progresses, is where you have a creative solution to what you are doing. So you bring something new to the game, you bring a new way of doing something, it would make it a success. Let's take one of our startups that we've invested in, Asoriba. It's one of the more popular ones.
I've done quite some work with them.
With Asoriba, yes. Exactly. So, we all go to church, we all give our offering and everything. How many people think about the fact that a church needs a management system to run and run well? In comes Asoriba. They decide to bring in technology to help churches first collect offering. Offering, it's just about putting money in your pocket and then going to drop it there. But what if you don't have money? Mobile technology has come up. So then they develop platforms and solutions that allows you to now collect offering, if not in physical form, in an electronic form. And then how do you manage the church? Because most churches will just be going, on the whims of whoever is leading and managing it anyhow. But then now they have a database, they have management systems to make sure things are compartmentalized very well, things are running very efficiently. You know when things are going bad, you can see it very quickly when things are not, funds and things are not being applied as they should, or the output or impact you're expecting to make, they're not really getting there. So church business is something that has been there, but then you add technology or something new to it, and then the innovation makes your business stand out and keep going and continue.
So the innovation makes your business stand out and keep going and continuing. And so whatever you are doing, think tech. And who better to tell us than somebody who started as a finance person through and through, all the way through first degree, second degree, and thinking that is my life, only for an internship to redirect her thoughts towards a new area, tech, that she had not previously considered. Liana and I have been thinking about an imaginary book called Pink. So Pink stands for pivoting, your career pivoting. It stands for internship, the power of networking, and the power of knowledge. You're trying to be actual book launch. And they invite us for the book launch. That's how the world is. Liana, before we end, let's just encourage a young entrepreneur out there, a young person with ideas out there that believes they can do something with their lives. Tell them something that would inspire them to not give up, but pursue their dream and become somebody significant tomorrow.
I'd say to the young entrepreneur listening to me, to the young person out there listening to us today, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Yes, I know and understand, especially in the Ghanaian market, things may be a little difficult at the moment, but that doesn't take away the fact that there are a lot of opportunities. It's by listening, looking out, being diligent with what you see, hear, and know, that you'll find these little nuggets of great opportunities that you can tap into. When you come to organizations and businesses like MEST Africa, there's a whole ambit of programs and things we do that you can leverage to either grow your entrepreneurial business or enhance your digital skills. Again, like the Springboard Roadshow does, they bring out a lot of different people on there to come and tell you about the great and interesting things that they do. Don't box yourself in one place. Go out there and give your very best in whatever you do. And once you commit yourself, success will follow through. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Liana. That was very beautifully put. And so if somebody's listening and saying, hey, please don't go away. One last thing. How does one find out more about MEST Africa? How does one apply to be considered as one of the 60 people that will be on the year-long program? How does one find you and engage with you?
So MEST Africa, our website is meltwater.org. Meltwater, MELT as in melt, and then water, WATER.org. So you just go online. You can search for MEST Africa or go to meltwater.org and you find the MEST webpage. And also we are on the social media channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram especially, and Facebook, sorry. So these 4 platforms, we are there as MEST Africa. So just search for MEST Africa on any of these platforms and follow us.
Very, very active.
Yes, extremely active. So once we announce, and we run a bunch of different programs, a lot of accelerator programs, short-term digital skills training programs for young people. So if you're not able to get into any of our 1-year cohort programs, you can get into some of these other programs that we run at MEST. And there are lots of great opportunities out there for young people, young businesses, and startups.
Thank you very much, Liana Ekuadzi. She's the programs manager at MEST Africa. Thanks for joining us to talk about exploring untapped resources.
Thank you.
It's just exciting to hear what is happening. We're looking forward to hearing more stories about young people doing great things. And we'll be tracking and monitoring from here and probably bring you back to come and give us a future update on some more amazing things happening at MEST Africa.
I'd love to. Thank you so much, too, for having me.
Most welcome. All right, so this has been another interesting edition of Springboard, your virtual university, this time focusing on exploring untapped resources. My guest has been Liana Ekuadzi from MEST Africa. I don't know which of the points is really, really connecting with you, but let's continue this conversation on social media. Connect to the MEST social media handles, Springboard social media handles, Ghana Grows social media handles, and my handles as well. Let's keep this conversation going as we explore how do we empower young entrepreneurs in Ghana and Africa as a whole to go out there, live out their dreams, and do big things, and then for us to point to them later and say, here we go. African success stories. My name is Albert Ocran, thanking you on behalf of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and our sponsors, MTN Ghana and Enterprise Group, our media partners, the Multimedia Group, and the Graphic Communications Group. Till we come your way again next week, my name is Albert saying God bless you, and God bless you.